Dan always
I
forgets.
unmuted.
Thank you.
We had that yesterday with Dad. My chair is squeaking like a madman, brother. We had that yesterday with Dad today. I started introducing Dad today, and Dean's like, "I think you're on mute, Dan. You still haven't quite got that yet." So, um, brother Ryan, I feel like it's been forever, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing spectacular, brother. I'm doing spectacular. Getting, I think I've been going into hibernation with this cold weather that we've got. So I'm excited to heat things up back
It's
on Sales
not
Channel.
cold
Right?
yet.
It's freezing cold, man. It's
You
we got
know,
the heat on.
isn't this funny? Because if it was at the end of winter, we'd be in shorts and t-shirts and flip flops outside right now.
You think so?
Oh yeah, you never do that at the end of winter where it's
I think
like,
that's a white
oh,
people thing,
it's
brother.
14. You say it's a white
It's a
person
white
thing.
people thing, man. We don't rock the because we see that. You know, me so many times I used to go to like when I was in high school or like
How is it
college and
fair
stuff.
you could say that? If I were to say something like that, everybody would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just said that."
I mean, go for it, brother. Go for it. We're allies, man. At the end of the day, man,
Hey.
we're it's a true thing. But yeah, no, I always used to laugh at that stuff, man. Seeing like people in shorts when it's like 5 degrees outside, and I'm like,
Mhm.
brother, like it's not. I guess if it's like one of those days where it's cold in the morning and then it heats up like in the afternoon, the couple of weeks that we've been having. But yesterday it was cold, man. I was getting my brakes done, and I was just hanging out outside with the mechanic, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna go get a jacket, you know. So it's one of those things, brother.
So it is, and here's what I've always found when it comes to that part of our climate change, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of winter, I tend to like, oh my gosh, it's chilly out there. And then as the minus 30 days come to an end, I'm telling you, when it comes like March and there's be snow on the ground and it's like 7 degrees, I'm out in flip-flop shorts and a t-shirt and I'm like, this is beautiful weather. Isn't this just gorgeous? Because my body becomes so accustomed to being in minus 30, minus 10. And it's maybe because I'm outdoors a lot in the
Yeah.
wintertime. I tend not to hibernate in winter. Um, so I find that we get accustomed to the climate, right? We get climatized. It's like anything, right? You go up north and like, what was it? Perry Sound and Cochrane and North Bay and all those places. They got like 30 centimeters 2 days ago, 20 centimeters
They
2 days
did?
ago.
See, those
Yeah,
and
yeah.
by
So
the way,
their winter started.
disclaimer for everybody watching, those are not places that I would ever go to. Like, I'm just hearing about Cochrane, right? I only know about these places because I work in logistics and sometimes we ship there. But like, yeah, Perry Sound I've heard about, but like North Bay and things like that. But like you said, 30 centimeters of snow. Like, this is,
20 or 30 centimeters over the weekend. But their winter starts typically mid-October.
nah,
Right?
nah.
Like, I don't know if you remember. Well, maybe not, because so when I was growing up in Montreal,
Mhm.
there was never a Halloween. I wasn't able to, I was able to wear just a Halloween outfit. Like, there was never a
Uh,
Halloween. I had always had to wear snow pants and a jacket underneath my
no,
Halloween outfit. Like, I can't tell you how many Halloweens we were trucking through 4 or 5 inches of snow.
no,
Go
never. I've
trick or
never
treating.
had, yeah,
Top
never had a
on
Halloween.
hats, mitts, everything.
No, honestly, I would say when it comes to Halloween, there's two things. Either it's gonna be really rainy, or it's gonna be like really cold. But yeah, I've sometimes, I don't know. I think when I was a kid, my parents used to make me wear the jacket and stuff like that. But yeah, with never any snow, man. And the
Yeah.
next event that I look at is like Diwali, which is usually like mid-November. So I know it's like rain. Like I don't know, man. For everyone who's watching out there in Ontario or in a different climate, like I don't really feel we get snow until really like Christmas time. No, like. I don't know. I
Yeah,
feel like
we don't.
December isn't. Yeah, we don't get anything, so I'm excited
No.
for it. But then January and February kind of really suck because it turns into like a ice storm where it's cold and there's ice and snow, right? Like, give me one, give me the cold or. But it's been, I don't know, man. This global warming, this global heating that people are kind of calling it right now. Like, we've had some really hot days, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to what this winter is going to bring.
Me too. And I'm looking forward to you pulling out your wallet and getting a snowmobile so we can go riding together.
Man, let's do it, man. We're doing it. We're gonna make it happen, brother. We're
So
gonna make it
we'll
happen.
get you on one of mine, and then you can see if you like it, and then
Dan,
we'll
you
go
want to
out
know something
shopping.
funny? Do you want to?
Mhm.
And you're probably it's gonna blow your mind because my wife and I, she laughed at me too. I actually don't have a winter jacket. So
What?
yeah, so last year my wife and I we went to Winners and I got a winter jacket, but I find these jackets these days, Dan, like they make me very boxy. So I was looking like the Michelin man. So like I found a really cool jacket, a parka, and then I returned it because I was like, I'm like walking like this. So funny enough, I do need to get a winter jacket. So maybe we'll do a vlog, like go get a Canada Goose jacket or something like that. But I thought you
Yeah.
so for the winter time, I
Well,
just wear like a
winter
bomber
jackets aren't meant to make you look
Michelin man,
sexy,
right?
brother. Like this. They're not meant to. Well, I mean, I guess maybe women's are, but like guys, I'm one of those guys where like we went for a friendsgiving on Sunday,
Yeah.
and it was outdoors, and so I show up in like my winter boots. They're hiking winter boots, but they're still winter boots. I had my full-on I call them Kenora dinner jackets. My because Kenora, Ontario, is so far out there. It's my plaid jacket that looks like I'm going to chop down trees. I had gloves. I had a thick toque on. And I show up and people are looking at me like this guy. But you know what? Midway through the event, I'm toasty warm and everybody's like, oh my God, it is freezing out here. And I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I'm good. I'm that guy that overdresses all the time in the winter because I'd much rather be nice and cozy than, like you ever get that chill in the winter and as soon as it hits, it's like it's not going away till you get under your covers in bed at nighttime for 2 hours and then it finally goes away. So I'm not into that. But today is not about winter. Today is about the future of sales. And, for everyone out there, when you say the future of sales, what's the first thing you think about? AI, right? Like AI is going to take this job. AI is going to take that job. So we've got a few videos here today and understanding, I think it's probably most of the conversation is going to be geared towards AI. However, there's a few things that I'd like to share before we get rolling here. And Ryan, love your thoughts on it because we might have different thoughts on these 4 topics. So the first thing that is, AI is obviously here to stay. We all know that. I don't think it's even close to taking anyone's sales jobs. You might look at some of the newer programs out there that talk about, oh, we'll become your salesperson, and maybe it's for opening the conversation or introductions, but then you as a professional logistics rep is going to have to step in for sure. I see and use AI as more of a way to increase my productivity and duplicate my sales efforts. And what I mean by that is if I'm stuck with automation, if I'm stuck with not feeling creative when I'm writing emails or I'm sending DMs to people, I will use AI to give me ideas. The copy paste AI is like the worst thing you can do because you think you enter a prompt in chat GPT. I'll tell you, the last 3 weeks, I've gone deep into prompts. And Ryan, I'm willing to say 99.99999% of people out there are using it wrong.
Yes.
There is some serious prompts out there where I'm getting results and information from chat GPT that I've never even found on Google. 3, when I look at it, marketing is the new sales. And I truly believe that, especially moving forward, it's is your company or you going to market yourself, your business, what you do, what your specialty is? How are you going to market that? How is your company going to market themselves? So when you enter the conversation of the customer, they know who you are. And, as I was preparing for today's show, I couldn't help think of one of the questions you ask all the time is, I work for X company. Have you heard of us? And when the answer is yes, that's marketing. And when the answer is no, that's marketing. Right. And then the 4th one is pretty much a statement that I believe tools and systems that integrate AI in will win. Because AI can automate workflows. It can give you the tools and the technology to streamline what you're looking to do. And that's how I really see the role of AI. What are your thoughts?
I look at AI with I first and foremost, I agree with everything that you said there. I think it's so important for everybody to realize that we're seeing the AI messages and not using the prompts correctly. Like even myself, Dan, I've been so specific with prompts and the stuff that it's given back to me. It's been really, really cool. Coming back to it, I see sales and I see life like your car. Right, you have a car, doesn't matter what you have, and I look at all these additional features, like whether it be AI or automation, all that stuff. I see that as like additions. So it's like, okay, being able to have heated seats or heads-up display or Bluetooth or like a wireless charger. Those are things that are gonna enhance my experience, but I still gotta drive the car, unless like you have like a Tesla or a self-driving car or something like that, right? But even still, I feel like even if I had a self-driving car, would I be using it all the time? Like if winter comes down here and we see some snow, am I ever going to use it? Probably not, right? I'm going to still
Yep.
manually drive
Yep.
that. So actually, it's a part of the video too that I was kind of thinking about as well. Using AI or using those things to market yourself and know more about the customer, know about like whatever business that you are in, whether it be B2B. And I love that what you said at the beginning about, kind of having AI kind of warm up that lead for you instead of a traditional person, and then kind of bring it to you to a close. But that's more of like a SaaS thing, right? They have like their business development reps and their account executives, which their business development reps, they just pick up the phone and just rip calls all day. Just
Yep.
book meetings. That's all they do. They don't do anything with the closes. They just rip calls, and then whatever gets qualified or into that funnel goes over to the AE, and then the AE will close it from there. So I'm excited to see what the videos are today. Let's get into them and see what our thoughts are.
Go for it. Grab yours first.
Okay. Playing it in 3, 2, 1.
You think of Tony Stark as Iron Man, right? As a human being, he has everything. He's good looking, he's rich, he's super smart, right? He's got the trifecta. But if he goes out and fights all these aliens, he's going to get killed, right? So what does he have to do? He has to create the suit. And the suit's great, but without Jarvis, the AI, the suit's kind of just a chunk of metal. And then if you put Minority Report in there, where, I don't know if you remember the movie, but he had these gloves on and he was in front of these screens where he was kind of just swiping things left and right. I genuinely think that we're going back to, full cycle sales, where the sales professional is going to be staring in front of a single pane, and instead of trying to figure out, oh, who should I talk to today? We're going to be having information given to us. Be like, John, you need to call so-and-so. And by the way, you don't need to email them. You need to call them, because they just did these 5 things and their company just did this and they just posted that. And when you call them, make sure that these are 3 snippets of things that you mentioned, because here's some relevant information for you. And so if you think of the human plus the tech plus the AI, you can start to envision Iron Man, Iron Woman, but we just need the technology to give us so that we can be as valuable as possible in that interaction.
Yes.
See, and that's the reason
That was a great video.
It was a great video. And you know what it reminded me too, Dan? I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, that's gonna be great for the salesperson, because there's already, like, we can both say it, like there's apps out there like Lavender where you put in somebody's email and then it'll like do background checks and be like, oh, here's some news about what they did or the personality types. But I think about the opposite side. I want to talk about the shipper side of this, Dan, because this is a logistics show. I personally feel the future, the predictions that shippers are going to have access to this, and they're going to have the, like, how we have like Carrier 411 and we have all those places to kind of like manage, I think Carrier Sure and all these things. But I think shipping managers, they're going to have tech available to them to be like, hey, XYZ company, okay, they got started like like just to type in the company or something like that. Oh, they got started 5 years ago. They're working with this customer. They do this lane. They have this amount of assets. I think shipping managers, including sales reps, they're gonna be equipped with all this information data. What are your, like, that's the one thing that I got from this video. I was like, yeah, I want to think about the shipping managers, because it can't just be one-sided, right? It can't be one-sided where the sales manager specifically the sales rep has all this information they're going after. I really think that logistics managers are going to have this access to, and they're going to be doing the exact same thing, and that's where you're going to find synergies. What are your thoughts?
So it's interesting you brought it here. It was pretty much the exact conversation Dean and I had yesterday. So Dean's at .com, right? And Tuesday was shipper day. Wednesday was broker day. And so these shippers actually use the DAT tools in order to see what rates are in the industry, what rates are in their specific lanes, what contracted rate, what spot rates are going for. So shippers are now adopting this technology to help them make better decisions. And mainly Dean was saying it's like they're using the technology so they don't necessarily get taken in the market, right? And I thought it was interesting because when you think about it, the more we educate shippers and the more our shippers are educated, I truly believe the easier the job is, because when things go wrong or when markets turn, your customer knows what's happening. Because if you don't have information today, like, you have to be hiding under a rock.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but how do you filter that information? And the analogy that he used about Tony Stark, and I love those analogies because it puts so much into perspective, right? It's like we use AI, but Tony would just be Tony Stark. He wouldn't be Iron Man without the suit, but the suit wouldn't be the suit without Jarvis. And there's all like it stacks on top of each other. And how we look at this or how we look at our sales, again, AI will be a tool to help us
Yeah.
along the way. But if we just rest on AI's shoulders, we're leaving out our ability to make things happen, our ability to close deals maybe faster than AI will predict the close. I would love to have shippers use tools like that, where, they type in a company name or they type in a person's name and, everything comes up, how long they've been at the company. Well, I mean, pretty much you can do that just with LinkedIn if people keep their bios up to date, right? But, I've got there's a difference between, and I guess the disconnect, if we want to use the Tony Stark mentality, without Jarvis, it's just a chunk of metal.
Yeah.
But when all three are together, that's where the power comes in. And I think that's something that everyone should pay attention to, because just typing even a really good prompt into ChatGPT and telling it what to do and copying it, pasting it, and sending an email thinking, oh, I'm cheating the system, or I'm, because again, I know all of these advertisements, all this marketing for, whatever it is that you're seeing on LinkedIn all the time now, where it's like as if Canva and AI had a baby, whatever that.
Yeah,
Remember
magic thing. Yeah, magic.
yeah.
Whatever.
So it was like you're looking at it, and all the marketing is like, oh, don't lift a finger, have things done for you instantly. Here's the silver bullet. I mean, that's the style of marketing.
Yeah.
But when we tried it, it was like, okay, so you gave me call a spade a spade. It wasn't that bad. They gave us 65 different banners or different, pieces of media.
Mhm.
They're all the same.
Yeah.
They all have the same saying. The AI converts it. Now you show me one where I can enter one sentence and it takes sentences like that, or you enter a bio and it converts it into 60 completely different pieces. That's using AI for productivity. Right.
Yeah.
That's again what we as individuals do, is how in sales do we use AI to be more productive, to help us get more done in less time, maybe for top of funnel, not middle or bottom of funnel. You use AI for outreach, that kind of thing. Like you've seen it probably with in some of the emails you get, where it's like AI's become a salesperson.
Yeah, exactly. Funny enough that you kind of led to that. Actually, I want to share something that I actually received yesterday with that. So this was actually an email that I received, and I kind of wanted to lead it and then kind of spoil it, but yeah, just got this email that I received yesterday. I won't read it. We'll leave this up for about 5 to 10 seconds or so. But this was the email that I received, and this was like to my Bridger email. Personally, I thought like this was like pretty personalized, from the things that they mentioned here. But then at the bottom of the email, it says like this email was generated by Calendar AI, which is a sales agent. And I went to the website. If anybody's watching out there, go to the website Calendar with a K AI. And what it does is like it puts in like the title. It basically asks you, who is your ICP, which is our ideal client profile. What do they sound like? What do they look like? What are they? Basically, you got to do all these qualifying things, and then these are the stuff that it will give, right? So for me, I didn't know this, and I'm pretty good with like reading AI and understanding that. I didn't realize it was AI until I want to say the fourth paragraph when they were asking for the demo. But I really thought I was like, okay, well, this is talking my language. These are easy words that I can understand in my vocabulary. Pretty straight to the point. It's kind of pumping me up in like paragraph 2 and things like that. And when we kind of get to something like that, imagine you're sending that to scale. Right. So understanding that from our end that, hey, we might be banging out 100 a day. Just look at that time that you get back with that. Right. So like I said, AI is a great thing. I know I don't want this to be a full AI show, but, there's other tools out there that are going to make it much more simpler for ourselves, too. And why wouldn't you want to be more productive? Like I'm all on the fence of being productive. Just don't be lazy and cheap out with it. Because anytime I see like posts on LinkedIn and I see like the emoji and then it's like from here, like with a paragraph and then another emoji, I'm like, okay, this is 100% like AI generated. But another conversation about that, Dan, before we get into your video, was that, everybody knows I'm a part of Toastmasters. Toastmasters for 100 years is you go down and you write a speech. You know, you sit down in your empty head and empty timing, and then you write out a speech. You got your key points, all this stuff. I've used AI as a prompt, you know, for helping me write speeches. They're like, okay, give me 3 top things on these topics. And it's just making it, it's not cheating, like you said about cheating the system. It's really just working smarter, not harder, that we always talk about. Right. So being
Well,
able
it's
to
easier to edit than it is to write.
yes.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
And so if you use a system like ChatGPT, a system like Jasper, anything like that, it's writing. And it's like Stacy says, it can be a good tool, but shouldn't be relied on to do the job. So if you're using AI to do the job without adding your own pieces to it, you're missing out. You really are. And I see Steve says, that's amazing. My entire engagement with ChatGPT has led me to think of it more like Jarvis versus Iron Man. Great video. But you know, when you edit, or when you ask ChatGPT, give me a couple of topics, and you take that topic and you say, you know, give me a 700-word speech on this topic, and you maybe take one sentence, then you write 2 of your own, then you take one sentence, right? And then not only that, but then prompting ChatGPT to speak and write like you write, because I know I've seen a couple of emails come across, and I'm like, sure, I'd love to take a meeting. Let's talk about it. And the person I was speaking to did not write that email afterwards, I realized, right? And so I've become very critical. And like even the email you just put up, that first sentence tells me it's AI right away, because it talks about your escalation to the VP of agents and vice president of sales for agents and marketing. But it doesn't mention anything about your past. So, hey, I noticed you went from this company to that company. So it's acting like it's gone through your LinkedIn, a person's gone through your LinkedIn profile. And then, you know, when it says at the bottom of the sentence, you know, consistently exceeding sales targets, how do you know it's a private company? You have no idea what our sales targets are. You have no idea what our goals are. You have no idea what our ROI is. You have no idea what our revenue is. You have no idea what our ROAS is. You have no idea what the bottom line is. You have no idea what expenses are. How do you know we're exceeding targets? So for me, that type of email would immediately turn me off, because I'm like, you don't know any of this. This is all bullshit. You're not coming. Hey, are you exceeding targets? How is it with the new company? How's the growth? Those are more questions where it's like, okay, for me anyways. So somebody, obviously calendar, I get probably 4 different companies now chasing me on calendar. And it's, to me, I would, and again, love your thought on it, I would never reply to those, because I'm like, okay,
well, no, here's it. So I don't agree with that. I only respond to things that I can find value in it. Great example right now, especially with Bridger, right? We got the 30-day thing. People are seeing it right now, but you know, they're not going to sign up for it unless they find value in it. So if I got somebody an email, like this has no value to me based off the email. And shout out to Scott, I had to remove the company name because I didn't want to like put them on blast and stuff like that. But if I found value in it, if I got an email where, hey, we can clean your house in like 2 hours when my traditional house cleaner takes 4 hours, it's only going to be what I perceive as value that I'm going to appreciate. If somebody's telling me that, like they're coming to my Bridger email and they're like, hey, we can help you get like book more demos and stuff like that, I peek at it, but it would be like, we'll help you build this, we'll help you like build the whole like CRM and stuff like that. I'd say no, because it's already out there. So I think it's what we perceive as value. Your value is going to be different. My value is going to be different. Everybody else's value, like somebody who's a newer rep, they would be like, hey, if I got an email about, hey, I can pay X amount, my ROI, to have 100 calls done a day for me from a human, or whether it be AI, then you'd look into that, right? You would look for that competitive. We all want that competitive advantage. So I think when I see something like this, it's I first thing I always with everybody, fact check it, right? Go check out the website, make sure if it's all right, because you know, if you check out the website, you're gonna start getting ads on like your social media now, right? And that's what kind of keeps on building the intrigue about it, I guess. So like I said, I think it's with the value, what you perceive value is gonna like lead to like the next step. Because for me, I look at emails like you, Dan, like when you send an email to a new brand new prospect, it's like, hey, I'm doing this instead of a call, you know, so I'm not trying to piss you off, and all I want is just to book a meeting with you. Like nothing, I'm not trying to close business here, I'm not trying to do anything. But what I did do was, and they were successful with this email, because I went to the website, checked out their pricing, saw what they're about. Okay, I don't need this right now, off to the garbage. But if it was something that I needed, then maybe I would have, right? So
Yep. You're right there. Let's get to the next video.
let's do it.
Oh, this
So
one.
the sales process is eventually going to be all powered by AI. Like right now, you want to talk to a company, you inquire, and then you might have to call in, or they have to coordinate a time to speak with you. Then you talk to the person, and then like one of you could have gotten sick, or one of you has to reschedule. It's like there's all of these inefficiencies in two people who want to talk to each other, just trying to coordinate a conversation and then to exchange information that they both need. So what's going to happen is eventually, like the sales side of companies, it's like an arms race, is eventually going to be all AI powered. Like every communication will be AI powered. And all it's going to do is just going to say what you would say if it was a person.
So I specifically chose this video for one big reason. I don't agree with that. I agree that AI, at this point anyways, would be a good top of funnel. Again, I said it before. Great top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. I don't think AI will do the job, personally. Now, will machine learning get to a point where maybe it will, because it can think on its own and understand conceptually what somebody's saying? Or, I think so, because there's a Mulroney or something. There's a system out there already that literally makes calls for you, and it's an AI. Now it's designed to fill restaurants, so they haven't made the application for other kinds of fields, but it's designed to fill restaurants. And it's actually, I found that software when I was looking for these videos, and it literally calls people in the area and says, hey, listen, we got a special. And they say, okay, well, what night is it? And it can actually have with up to a 20-minute conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But I just don't see it happening like that in our industry. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because maybe it's just I haven't seen the power of it yet. Like you look at all these video, like Opus Clip and all these ones where you take a big video and you plug it in. And you and I have gone through this many times where it's like, well, I could probably, it takes 25 minutes to make 10 clips. Probably take me 30 minutes to make 10 clips, but I think for the most part, we would choose it better. So it's not there yet. Will it get there? I think top of funnel will be mostly AI. So, you'll have like, instead of cold callers in companies, you'll have AI. And then once it's qualified based on specific criteria and your ICP is there and everything, then all of a sudden it gets passed to an agent where it becomes personal. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want the personal part of this to go away, right? Like this, I think, is where humans are humans, and we want the personal connection. That's where my head's at. And maybe down the road it'll change. Like I never thought I would like audiobooks. I always wanted the paperback books. Now I'm liking audiobooks, but it's taken me 7 years to like them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but interesting.
Yeah, I think I gotta disagree on that one. I think well, this video is not like obviously for logistics sales, right? But it's just like when I think about like telecom companies, just imagine like every time you call into Rogers or Bell, your telecom company, it's gonna be all automated. It's like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to make a payment? Okay, boom, let's get. And they already have those kind of features already. But I think even like a sales task. Let's say you have a cell phone and then you got an AI person saying, hey, we got a great special on cable. And like they ask you a bunch of qualifying questions and then, hey, let's set that up. I think that's going to become AI and different things like that. I think with our industry, I do see it going to what he says to, and here's the reason why. A lot of our workforce, especially logistics managers and even freight brokers and all that stuff, they're getting a lot younger. This stuff is being taught in school. People are actually coming out with like degrees in these things. It wasn't like a pivot, like a lot of logistics managers I talked to, it's like they want to become a teacher and then they stumbled into, how we always ask that question, like, how did you stumble into logistics? We're getting through right now where people are actually, they're not stumbling to logistics. They go to school and they want to become a logistics manager. They want to do international business. They want to do supply chain, all those things. And I think it gets to that point as the younger that we get in this industry, it's going to become more automated and more smarter. Right? Because just imagine this. Imagine having to talk about ChatGPT to like a 60-year-old or 70-year-old like person, a shipping manager, or anybody in your family, and them kind of comprehending that. Like imagine having to, that's why our mom and dads always ask us for help on their cell phones, right? Because this is something that they can't comprehend fully on their end, but it's something to us that is natural. right? For us to set an alarm on our phone is like, oh, we can do that in 2 seconds. But for our parents or anybody else, it takes a while for them to get that learning curve because it's not what they're used to. So I think when it comes back to the AI being 100% the sales cycle being 100% AI, I do see that happening. I really do. And I think, there's going to be those certain companies that are obviously they want that human to human, but I think majority of it, right? When Uber Freight opened up in the marketplace and all these things, and a bunch of shippers like switched over there, they don't care about that human touch. They care about price and they want to be able to book that shipment and kind of go from there. So, like I said,
I agree with that completely.
Yeah,
There's
it's going to be
certain
a
ones
nice
that are
balance.
never going to want to change by talking to a human, by
Yeah.
physically working out this situation, and it's going to be price shoppers, people that only care about costing, that are going to go to those, because that's whoever switched to Uber Freight just cared about price.
Yeah,
because
and
there
you know
was
what? Kudos
never
to them.
any communication.
Yeah, kudos to them, because at the end of the day, they have some, just like our customers have somebody to answer to. They have their customers. They got a boss to answer to. So if their
Well,
mandate
they got
is,
ICPs, right?
there we go, right? They
They
have
got
to,
ISP, sorry, ideal supplier profiles.
Yep.
So, and when you use an Uber Freight, you eliminate the having to say no to people, right?
Yeah.
So it's less friction, right? You don't have to worry about disappointing somebody that's like, I really need this load, my truck's stuck. You don't have to hear those conversations. You can just
we don't
simply
even need
push
to
a
have a
button and
conversation.
it's
Yeah,
done.
click a button. Well, look at Uber and like Skip Edition and all that stuff. What is that? That's replacing us physically going into the store. So it's giving us that time back, right? Let's say you're a shipping manager with 200 loads at the beginning of every Thursday, Friday, and you're like, okay, cool. Let me just throw it on here, covered within an hour, right? Like, what other place can really do that, right? Let's call it space. Some companies are going to be like, if you're dealing with that supplier, they're going to say, yeah, send it over. And realistically, they're probably not. They don't have trucks on that yet, right? Like, unless like they're asset based and they've looked at their schedule. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to kind of see what the future is. And I think we should definitely have like a shipping manager and have them kind of talk about what they're kind of seeing. And I would love to, like I said, I'd love to get a new person too, like somebody who's come out of the college, university. What did they learn in school? Because I feel like this is going to be a topic, that subject that is taught in school, and they're going to have that ability to be like, okay, well, hey, if we're getting up to the times with it right now, if you can edit all these videos, you got TikTok, you got LinkedIn, you got Facebook, you got all these amazing things already using it. Why can't we just transition this over to logistics and supply chain?
It'll be an interesting topic. And I think, yes, definitely we need to get a few more people on to talk about it, because I think it's something that we cannot eliminate from the conversation, and kind of move forward from that point. As it gets better and better and better and better, there will be more options to move with it. I mean, agree to disagree. I don't know. I just don't see it becoming the entire sales force in our industry. But for certain companies, I do. You made a very valid point that for certain companies that don't want to talk to people, AI chatbots, like I could tell you, I'd rather, when it comes to online chat with a person, I hate the chatbots online, because it's like you answer, it brings back a generic answer and blah, 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 and all this kind of crap, right?
Yeah.
And but anyways, back to tomorrow, buddy. Book club review.
Review, man. Everybody tune in, man. It's gonna be fun, man. We get to go over all the chapters of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, right at it at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Let's go.
Let's do it.